from the beginning, where the first day before we began at Gold Wheel Monastery in LA, Master Hua told him, okay, as Dharma protector, he said, you may not use your fists or your feet. You may not use your martial arts. And Marty's a black belt in Taekwondo and other things. He said, as soon as you throw the first punch or the first kick, you are no longer my disciple. And so Marty had actually considered putting a hatchet.
No, I did.
And he had a hatchet.
I had an axe
in his bag.
When we were planning this, we were in the monastery in the back. I was still a layman. He was a monk. So my idea of this pilgrimage is, something out of, living in the wild, back to nature. And so I go on and get all this really good sleeping bags, the latest titanium cooking ware with the stove and all this sort of things. And I bring it in, and we're in the back room and we're planning. And Hung Sher's going, oh, that looks good. That's great. It's good. And then Master Hua comes in and he looks at it. What are you doing? Well, we're getting ready for the pilgrimage. He says, nah. You should take anything that nobody wants. Don't take anything that anybody would even turn an eye second. Oh, yeah. So we didn't. Got all this great stuff. I would say within the 4th week of the pilgrimage, it was all gone. So all those nice things that we got were completely stolen. So that was one instruction we didn't listen to and learn the hard way. But then the other instruction, I thought, oh, Hung Sher, the holy monk is going to make this vow, and I, Go Ting, will be his Dharma protector. And I will use my martial arts to save him from all these villains that descend, like Xuanzan and Monkey. Here we go. And I think, well, I got my martial arts, but I should have a weapon too. And so in the monastery, there was this nice little axe. And I thought, well, just in case, because if I just hold that, it'll threaten the Hell's Angels away, right? And so we're ready to go out the door, and the Master Hua says, where are you going? We're going to go. No, he says, give me the axe. I said, what axe? He said, you know what axe. You can, blah, 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 blah. No, you can't go out the door. I take out the axe and I give it to him. I said, but Sheriff, I got to protect you. He says, I will give you a secret dharma that you can use to protect. I thought, wow, here's the Kung Fu movie. Now, grasshopper, I'm going to give you the secret. I thought, this is classic. The Chinese master transmitting to me the secret iron fist or one finger, da-da-da. He says, it's called the 4 unlimited minds. I thought, yeah, that's a very clever expression, like the lotus flower and whop. And he says, and I said, what are they, Master? And he says, kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. I go, what? I'm sure it's translated. I said, maybe you got it wrong. It's fist, hand, and kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. He said, if you use those 4 unlimited minds, you will never be in danger and nothing will happen. If you don't use those, I can't vouch for you. And then he said, if you... Down in LA, just as we were about to go out the door for the very beginning, first day, he said, as soon as you throw the first fist or kick the first foot, he said, you're no longer my disciple on the spot. You may not use those. He said, furthermore, if you can use those 4 power tools that I gave you, nobody can touch you. And of course, I can see Marty's going, no. And then Sherpa turns to me and says, well, he says, on this trip, this time, you're not going to get enlightened. But what you write may have the power to cause all kinds of people to fa puti xin, to bring forth the resolve for Bodhi. And of course, I didn't hear the second part of that sentence. All I heard was, you're not going to get enlightened on this trip. I was like, Shifu? We're what? He said, you must write. He said, any day, if you don't put your clothes on, that's not important. If you don't write, that's important. You must write every single day. Any day that you don't eat, that's not important, but you must write every day. Do you understand? It's like, okay, Shifu.
现在说你保护这个果真3不1拜呀，这是也维护这个佛教啊，你不要怕劳苦啊。你看他们是不是违法忘去啊？3不1拜，刮风也拜，下雨也拜，天热也拜，天冷也拜。
There was one time in Big Sur when this guy, we're an isolated part of Big Sur, near the lighthouse, and this Jeep pulls up, an open-top Jeep, and this guy, my job is not to look around, right? I'm just keep bowing. And so this guy pulls up, and I hear this ha ha ha, this crazy laugh, and this guy has got a gun pointed at my head behind me, standing up in his Jeep, and Marty goes up, "Hi, how you doing? Hi, we're Buddhist monks here making a pilgrimage for world peace from Los Angeles to city of 10,000 Buddhas. Would you like a flyer?" And this guy is like, uncocks his gun, puts it, drives away.
Actually, it was a .45. I knew that much, and he was very stern. He just held it like that, just right at me. And I'm thinking, okay, the four unlimited minds, let's see, what are they again? And what I actually did was I put my palms together and did a half bow to him. And at that, he kind of looked at me, and then he released it, put it in, and just drove off.
In his Jeep, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you explain something like that? There was nobody around. It would have been, easy to wipe out the two monks.
他们这个拜的时候啊，就空中在他们拜那个地方它就不下雨，所以这是大家天龙八部感应